Receive questions from listeners and subscribers. Make sure you subscribe and like on Instagram and follow. Did I mention that in the episode? I will after this. Okay, so questions. So people send me questions. You guys, from people across the globe. Yeah, I want to make this a thing consistently. Q&A. You can ask me any question you would like, irrespective of whatever type of question it is. It could be a real question about reality, things in the real world, or personal questions about me. Hopefully not. But primarily questions. But you can ask questions about the show, about anything. Just my view on this, my view on that. If I share your view on something, and you can tell me what that view is, or just general questions, fantasy questions. Are we going to solve the are we going to solve the balding question? Are we going to take balding out of the gene pool? Yes. A lot of rich white people are bald. We are working on it. We will solve that problem. So you can ask me you can ask me questions that have no answers, no serious answers, and just feel free to ask me whatever pops into your head. Wait. Don't ask me whatever just pops into your head. Think about it for a minute. You know what? Think about it for 8 minutes, and then send me a message. You can send it to me by email on MichaelsOdyssey.Podcast@gmail.com. And that Michael's Odyssey is Michaels, Michaels. Michael's Odyssey, ODYSSEY, Michael's Odyssey at gmail.com. I'll make sure I put it somewhere so you guys can see it. And Instagram is Michael's Odyssey, or Michaels.Odyssey. So I'll also put the link here. You guys can you can email me questions. If you want it private, you can post a comment if you want it to be more public, or you can just send me a direct message on those platforms and I will respond. If you know me personally, I know you're just going to send me a Telegram or a WhatsApp, or send me a message on Instagram, I know. So, yeah, do whatever is comfortable, or just send your message across, okay? Super. I will be able to answer most of the questions I have received. With the exception of one, because I have not had time to think about it. I will give out the names of the people that have asked me questions, except if they want me to. So for now, I'll just tell you where the question is coming from, and then the question, and I'll give you my answer. This is from Pune, India. And the question is, who's the worst character according to you in movies? The one you would love to kill if given a chance. That was a good one. Now, my difficulty with this question is, it's very simple, and I'm sure some of you share the same problems. I love bad characters. I love the bad guys in movies, especially when it's well acted, and and the character has angles and much complexity to the character, or it just kills spectacularly, or it's just cruel in a very unique way. I find that very interesting, so it was difficult for me. And another problem is the fantasy and the real aspect. Guys who the fantasy and the real aspect, that's a problem, because from the fantasy perspective, right, these are characters that we create. These are not real characters at all. These are not fashioned after real people. There might be some sprinkles of realism in there, but generally it is not. It is complete fantasy. So a character like like T-1000, for example. So I split this into a fantasy and real. Okay, so I'll give you and the real characters are more realistic as to we have people like this now doing things like this. So ever since I was a kid, these were the guys I've hated the most. I had no problem with fantasy killers and vampires and monsters. I love monsters. I love nightmares. I enjoyed having nightmares as a kid. I know it sounded weird, but these were dreams I found interesting. These were dreams that I would remember. I would be shocked into it. They were a lot better than just running through the meadows of beautiful tulips and roses. Fucking kill yourself. Why would I want that dream? Throw in a headless pregnant woman with a machete running after me. Now we're talking. I want to run. I want to do some cardio. I flew a lot in my dreams. Apparently, in West African culture, if you fly in your dreams, you're some kind of a wizard. So I am a wizard. So who's the worst character according to me in movies, and the ones I would love to kill if given a chance? So the worst characters, right? My fantasy will be T-1000. I mean, the T-1000 is, I mean, first of all, Terminator 2. The T-1000 is the robot, the bad robot from the movie Terminator 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, you know the movie. Camera. I mean, he just crushed. That's one of my best top 5 action movies of all time. All time. It is also one of my favorite movies of all time. It was just well made. It had the right amount of things, even the right amount of mistakes. It was just a brilliant concept, generally. And he executed Terminator 2 specifically out of that franchise. It reached weird levels. I remember seeing it as a kid. It blew my fucking mind. I was very conscious that this is a great fucking film. It's not just an action movie. I don't know why I was conscious of it. I don't remember. I'm not going to go too deep into details, but I don't remember why I was conscious of some movies. There's some things or some art you see, you go, whoa, this is special, right? So this was one of those. I fucking loved it. And I've got it for some even weird, even small movies, or even I've got it right on some large movies that turns out to be, these are actually special movies. You know, they're well made. So T-1000 is, they call it the T-1000 Advanced Prototype. It's a shape-shifting robot made with some type of mimic alloy. It's not just made of it's not made of just rubber skin over a metal endoskeleton, right? No. This is made with a mimic alloy of some sort that can change shapes. It can change and modify its limbs. It can change its body to mimic objects that are within the same size range. It can mimic itself and completely camouflage itself against the wall. It can become flat, like a thin sheet of metal or glass, and it can reform back to a man that can cut your fucking head and run at like 100 miles an hour. I mean, I would love to kill this motherfucker. So if I was given a chance, I would go to war against this. I like a formidable opponent. I don't want any pussies out there. I want someone that would give me a run for my money. And this guy would. I will strap in, get all my nice pew 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 pew, and I'm in shape. I will go to town on this dude. I want him to chase after me, kill members of my family to get to me, kill my friends to get to me. We do some high-speed chase. I destroy half the city, and then I fucking kill him and destroy him, and then walk into the sunset. Sunrise. Sunset, fuck it. And then some tequila, some gin, yeah, and the good life. Okay, and now the real one. The real ones, half of them really scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. So let me see. For the real one, do you guys remember the movie Matilda? Played by, Matilda the movie. It's a book wrote by Roald Dahl, but it was made into a movie in the 96, 97. We all know Matilda. If you're an 80s kid, 90s kid, you gotta know Matilda. Do you remember the principal in Matilda, Miss Trunchbull? Yeah, that bitch. That is someone I would love to kill. I remember because when I watched Matilda as a kid, I watched Matilda in '96 or '97. I watched it when it came out. My my siblings and I were very lucky. We would get access to some things like books and magazines and movies, from the U.S. and from the United Kingdom. So I would get them quickly. I remember watching movies as they came out after, just a few, which was difficult back in the days. You gotta wait a couple of months or even a year before you get them, and we always watched them on VHS. So I remember we got Matilda. When it came out fresh, it was wild. She was terrifying. It was played by this actress, Pam Ferris. Yeah, check it out. She delivered on the role. That's why she scarred me as a kid. I imagined myself in Matilda's situation. What would I do? Um, it was, how would I get out of it? Because Matilda was helpless at many points, and as a kid, you don't want to be helpless. A lot of adults have accepted helplessness or are not completely helpless. Like I don't feel completely helpless, irrespective of how much I push or how difficult some or period might be. I still don't feel helpless. Maybe it's belief in self, or maybe it's just growing up. For kids, like I think kids, when I was a kid, I remember feeling helpless. And this movie was one of those movies that tapped into that. That somebody big who could just beat you based on their size, and that was it. And she was just an adult. And we could see that Matilda was right because we were watching the movie and we're seeing her perspective. So, whatever. I thought too deeply about it, but as a kid, the principal. If I catch her, I will fuck her up. I will beat her to death with a baseball bat, not wood, aluminum. And I won't stop until her brain has left her body. The second real characters that I would love to kill, bad characters I would love to kill, are generally I'm very good with serial killers. I found them fascinating from the get-go. Not because I liked them or I wanted them to hurt people. I just found people that thought this way and operated in this way, and they're members of society. I just found it fascinating that they're almost like mutants, or around us. And I've read books about them. The psychology is wild. You guys should try and get your hands on the book, Mind Hunters, by is it John Douglas, Jack Douglas. I haven't read it in a while. He's the guy that, remember the behavioral science unit, the FBI, the serial killer catchers? Yeah, these are the guys that started that, and you get to see the story of how they profile it. It's fascinating, or whatever. So I found the serial killers fascinating, but there are some killers I don't like at all. I don't like killers that, like all these hillbilly killers. You guys know that? You know what I'm talking about, hillbilly killers. There have been several hillbilly killer movies, and when I give you guys my top two, you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. It's, you remember this movie, The Hills Have Eyes? Yep, there have been several remakes. I think the original was in the 70s, late 70s or 80s. Might be anywhere from 77, 78, 79, or 80, just within that period. It wasn't 80, it was 70. 77, 78, 79, and then there was another remake that was made in 2000s. I don't remember, but it was somewhat similar. Imagine family, going for their driving, you drive from state to state, different states, enjoy vacation time, and then they were accosted by a family of cannibals. Yeah, that's the story. Papa Jupiter That's the dad, and I think the kids' names are after planets: Mercury, Pluto, Mars. Yeah, and they cannibalize people. Apparently, like the Hills Have Eyes. Um, I think the Hills Have Eyes is Wes Craven. I think it is Wes Craven. The Hills Have Eyes. This was, the next one. The Hills Have Eyes was done. I mean, it was the movie was made after a real life character or story, or something similar to that, of a guy, some guy in Scotland, that would that killed a lot of people. I think up to 1,000 people, and cannibalize them and eat them. Some Scottish dude. I don't remember the year of this one. So there was the movie was after that. So those family. The movie was based. Some script, I'm sure, is based on that, or the general theme is based on that. The family, the cannibalizing the family. Yeah, I would like to meet them. Prepared, of course. I'm talking about military. I'm, John Wick. I'm going in hard. I am taking everyone with me. I will do things to Papa Jupiter that are illegal in hell. I will take him out. When I saw that first, it freaked me out because I imagined myself in that situation. What would I do? Now as an adult, and obviously I am insane. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, I want a one-on-one with the entire family. I want to beat them to that. Actually, I don't know if I should shoot. I might just shoot them below the knee and then go to work on them. Feed them to I might feed them to ferrets. You know what? I want to kill them. The next family are the special guys. Actually, I think I don't know. I find the Hills Have Eyes family disgusting, but these guys, they're not just disgusting. These guys are more terrifying. You guys remember the ultimate movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Obviously, there have been so many remakes of this movie. You guys remember the story? I think four friends or 5 friends, obviously again traveling by car. Is that the same one? Wait, I don't know if they were traveling or they picked up a hitchhiker. There was something that happened, and then 2 of them separated. Then they drove off, and then they found a gas station, trying to pump gas. 2 of them separated. Obviously, they were trying to go have sex. The Roompa. Yeah. I think whilst they were in the middle of pumping themselves to death, or before they could get jiggy with it, Leatherface, remember Leatherface, the guy with the chainsaw, popped out, I think stabbed the dude or cut his head off or something, and then impaled the girl. Man, it's beautiful. Now Leatherface, I want to lock myself in a room with him, and I'll deal with him separately. But his family, very interesting. The dad, yeah, those guys. I'm not sure. I think I would just go in there with my friends who are like me, and I don't know. We'll get creative. Just put us all in the room. Leatherface is all mine. I want a one-on-one with just Leatherface. Yeah, he's special. I'm putting down the hard way. No mercy for that dude. So, yeah. Those are my answers. Those are the bad characters I would like to kill in fantasy. Obviously, T-1000. Shout out to the big homie, T1. That's what I call him. And then for more reality, I want to kill the cannibal family from the Hills Have Eyes and the cannibal family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and obviously Miss Trunchbull from Matilda. See? Not bad. Okay, the question from Pune is a 2-parter. So the second part of that is also, what What about the best character? Which of the best character would I love to kill? Let's see. Best character I would love to kill. That was actually hard for me. I didn't put a definitive answer on this one. I left it blank because I wanted to freestyle it. Hard. Good character I would like to kill. The best character. The best character. I mean, this is a difficult one because there's like the best acting character, and that goes to like Daniel Day-Lewis's characters. I mean, this guy crushes things. So maybe one of his characters, or maybe a Jeffrey Wright character. I would like to kill. These guys can act. A Chiwetel Ejiofor character. So I don't know. That's what I was thinking. Is it a good character that everyone likes? A very good character. If it's a very good character, I want to kill Neo from The Matrix because he's my favorite. I love Neo. He saves the world and all that. Yeah. Right after he saves the world, I'll break his neck. So maybe Neo. Good character. Probably, I don't know, good character. So that's a difficult one. I'll just kill everybody's favorite characters. In your head, think of someone you like in movie character. He's dead. There's some characters I hate. I mean, there's some good characters there's some good. Forrest Gump. I will fuck Forrest Gump up. I will run him over with my car and back up on him. Pull him out and then beat him to death with a tire iron. I fucking hate Forrest Gump. But he's a good character and he's a good person in that movie. But I'll kill that motherfucker if I catch him in real life. So you see, I was a very normal child. I never liked the good guys in movies. I've always found it funny when the good guys died, except Superman. For some odd reason, I forgot that when I liked the character and then that character died, it would hurt. Yeah, when Superman died, that shit broke my heart. It scarred me for life. And I'm not kidding. I am dead serious. Scarred. Hey, now you know why I'm insane. See, Q&A. I knew you guys would like this. So let's see. Though that's my answer. Good ones will be difficult. I'll kill Neo. I'll kill Forrest Gump. And every character you guys. Wait a minute. Think of someone who's actually sweet and nice, good character. Lady, nice sweet lady, or a young girl. Oh, those cute kids from Kick-Ass. Yeah. I'll pretend to be an armed robber, and then they'll come and jump me, and then I'll beat them to death with nunchucks. That's what I'll do. Yeah. Germany. What up, Germ? If you were a Marvel villain, who would you be? That's a good one. Marvel comic books. You guys know. Marvel villain. So if I was the bad guy, who is the ultimate bad guys? Okay. Now there are some bad guys and then there are bad guys. If you're one of the guys that think, whatever you've watched and you're going to see bad guys, those are not bad guys. If you think Thanos is a bad guy, he's an adorable puppy. There are some bad guys. And I've been super fascinated with them. So if I want to be a villain, I want to be a very interesting villain. So I think I have 3 on my list. 4 actually, but I'll give you guys 3 that I want to be. These are all obviously overpowered villains. Number 1 on my list is a guy called Molecule Man. From the name Molecule, you have an idea of what his powers are. He can control matter. That means he can change a lamp into a tree. He can change a laptop into a box. It can change the ground you're working on into just like magma. You can change your coffee into acid, and then change your cup into a pistol, and you into dust buckets. I mean, he can just rearrange matter. I mean, he can just change you into dust. It is a beautiful thing. That is a villain I would like to be. If I'm going to be one, if I'm going to be bad, I'm going to be all bad. Not just a little bad. All bad. The second one on my list is obviously one of the greatest villains in the history of the human race. One of the greatest villains in the history of the human race. And this guy has even inspired some of my favorite artists in other genres. This is this is almost my number one, but I just gotta go Monaco so I can just fuck you guys up. Done. Capiche. But whatchamacallit this? This man, he's a guy. I know. I usually like gods because men are just so boring. But this one is it's a guy who uses science and mysticism. This guy has beaten gods and aliens and none other than Dr. Doom. Shout out to Victor Von Doom, the baddest man on earth. Who hasn't he fucked up? From Fantastic. This dude is he's beaten everybody. Everybody. I love Dr. Doom. I could be him. Number 3 is obviously none other than half alien, half god. He's not half and half, but he's both. He can control matter, he can teleport, he can control energy, he can direct energy. My number 3 man is a bad motherfucker. He also came and whooped the Fantastic Four's ass. None other than Galactus. I would be Galactus. And that's how I will introduce myself. I could be in the middle of a conversation. Yeah, I'm just chilling, going to have some coffee. Yeah, what's your name, man? Galactus. That's how you pronounce that name. So, let me know if you like my villains. Or don't, actually. Don't. Just tell me you like my villains. Good. This one is from Lagos, Nigeria. What up, Nigeria? What is your guiding philosophy on managing relationships? Dang. My guiding philosophy. In managing relationships, I have, when you get into relationships at first, you don't have time to, you're never ready. It's like you're never ready for when you love someone or fall in love with someone or become infatuated with someone. So that's, it's a very odd one. And you got to learn as you go. So from this, the little things I've picked up is love is not enough. Love is not going to see all through. Perhaps in some percentages, but in the majority of the time, you're going to do a lot more than just love. You're going to have to do a lot more than love. Always remember that. 2, find someone worth sacrificing or taking risks for. That's that's powerful. If you're lucky enough to find that person, learn to compromise, truly compromise, because you have to be selfless. That's number 2. Finding someone that you can be selfless to, all that is the backstory. But the main thing is you got to be selfless because you're going to have to compromise. So, love is not enough. Selflessness and compromise is key. So, brace yourself. Always keep a toe in reality land. Never get too carried away. Always be aware. Watch signs and pay attention to those signs. These should help you. There are others, obviously, and there are guys and people who are more versed with this. But these 3 usually keep me a little centered and focused. On managing relationships. The type of relationships you need to get into. That's another one. I would advise always try to get into relationships that you can be yourself. You have to be yourself most of the time, and then you can curtail certain characters or extreme habits that needs curtailing or trimming, basically. Yeah, but generally be yourself. That's it. This question is from Ontario, Canada. Um, this is a difficult one. I have not answered this one yet. This is, what movie best reflects your view of the real world, and what movie best showcases the world you want to live in? So these are two questions. Um, I mean, the first part is what movie best reflects my view of the real world. Almost every movie reflects my view of the real world, because the real world is very complex, and most times facts are stranger than fictions. So, some of the wildest stories you've heard are real. Bears getting high off cocaine, kicked off by drug dealers on a plane, that's real. The only thing we do not yet know is real is just, control of matter, magic, just making things actually appear or disappear or something like that. So, um, other than that, most movies are real. Most crime movies are real and can depict reality very well. Land of God, Brazil, the favela movie, that depicts real life. I can choose that one as my depiction of what. I don't have any specific best movie that depicts real life yet, but this one and very mundane movies. Some of these Bill Murray mundane movies, Broken Flowers, for example, that's very real. So, yeah. What movie best showcases the world I want to live in? That's a difficult one. There are a lot of worlds out there. We have created a lot of worlds, movies, and then movies adapted from, books, adapted into movies, video games adapted into movies. This one is difficult, actually. It's actually pretty difficult. Showcase the world I want to live in. The thing is, I'm always pulled between different places. The worlds I want to live in, I flirt between worlds that will be good for me, where I would sit or live, pure peace, just flowers and roses and all those beautiful things, kids running up and down and running amok and having a good time. I love those worlds, but I also love worlds with a kick. A little challenging world, worlds that are very interesting. There's a lot of weird worlds out there, so I'm not sure. What I want to live in, something nice but interesting, something I can interact with, a world that is alive I can interact with. So there are not a lot of those out there. I think a lot of those will be pushed to the sci-fi realm. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Worlds, a Thousand Stars. We have that. We have Oz. We have Neverland. We have Neverland, Peter Pan. We have there are a lot of worlds out there. What world will I choose? Disney worlds are always good. I quite like the world in Minority Report. Sounds a little weird, but I like it. Sounds like an interesting place. Cybertron sounds interesting. Star Trek and Star Wars world. Alderaan is nice. Before it got bombed to smithereens. Disney worlds, Frozen, the worlds there. It's so nice. So I don't know. This is a very difficult one. Nah. Well, what would I want to live in? Where would I stand? What about the world from Oasis? Ready Player One. Right? You can do anything. You can jump into that world, become a samurai, and fight ninjas. I think I'll chill there for a bit, and then I'll, work my way around. Oasis, Ready Player One. Yeah. This one is from Lagos, Nigeria. What do you think happens after death? This is obviously a hard one. But I have three variations of that answer, right? I have my official, stark answer. And then I have answers where I try to make sense of something that others haven't yet made actual sense of. We've had different ideas about this, but a lot of them don't make sense to me. A lot of them make sense to billions of people. So I am not correct about this. This is just my take. The first one is, my official true answer is, um, I don't know. I have no idea. Zilch. Nada. Nothing. Nothing at all. I have zero idea what happens. That's my official answer. But seeing the fact that all humans try to play God, no. I mean, we are intelligent and we must ask questions like that, so it does make sense. Um, my other two answers I flirt with is just a combination of, I try to from one sense, I've tried to combine, every belief system, everything that has to do with how we believe and the different stories out there of life after death and what goes to the life after death, a version of us, either your soul, this one is, when you die, right? I think like it's like consciousness and soul are the same thing. This is my not official, but just an answer I flirt with. Consciousness and the soul are technically the same thing. This is just an essence of the self, right? Outside of your consciousness, you're not aware of the self. So I think perhaps consciousness might be one of those things that are made, that is actually some, we have the physical state, we have liquid state, we have gaseous state, perhaps there are other states we have not yet, science has not yet, but will find. The soul or consciousness might be another state in which, but it's another feature of an intelligent being, or a being that has reached a certain level of consciousness. That comes as a feature. So that soul thing could be, the consciousness could be some kind of, that's why perhaps sometimes you see orbs, or, you see some kind of light. Perhaps that's what it is, but it's just a different state we have not yet, deciphered. And when you die, that state leaves your dead host body and perhaps travels to other dimensions, travels to space, or it just travels constantly until it hits something, not to die, but perhaps find another vessel, or we're just meant to travel for all of eternity. We have no idea what eternity is, so it could be that. Yeah. My second take on this is, there is a hypothesis, right, of about our world, ours being created by a god or gods or other, or supreme omnipotent beings and things of that nature. So perhaps that is right in one sense. Unless perhaps there are super extreme. I mean, they're just god intelligent creatures, god level like creatures. And these creatures or entities are, just life forms that have been around for years and have evolved into that power, right? And we don't know where they come from. And these guys are perhaps a type 4 civilization, type 5 civilization. These are planet builders, these are universe builders. And perhaps they built our universe and they're just having fun with us. And the idea of a soul is just some portion of our mind. And when we die, they slot that into heaven, paradise or something, and we just go on for all eternity. So yeah, these are just ideas I flirt with, but my official answer is I don't know. But if I'm to flirt, I'll go with either the conscious state can travel because it's a different material, or aliens or supreme beings. That's it. This is a good one. This question is from London, England. This is an interesting one. What are the biggest advantages and what are the biggest disadvantages of being a man, a male Homo sapien man, a man in life and a man in society? I will tackle the advantages first. Let's just keep in mind that there are a lot of complexities and nuances in this question, because there might be a need for a baseline, or something to compare something with in order to know what is an actual advantage, but let's not get too technical with that. Let's just take it in face value. What are the general advantages of being a man in life to society? Advantages. The problem is a lot of the advantages I can think of can also be looked upon as disadvantages. Strength. One of the advantages of man is strength. Men have great physical strength, not compared to bears and other wild animals, but we have enough physical strength to defend ourselves, to fight, to even kill animals that are bigger and stronger than us. That is there. That's number two. The number one is our brain. Just generally having an effective brain is a super advantage for a man. How a man thinks is also an advantage. I don't know how women think, but having a brain, a man's brain and a man's perspective, I believe it is. Because if you look through life, men have been mavericks throughout life. Irrespective of how you view a man, a particular man, but generally men have been mavericks. Men have always ventured out into complex, dangerous, unknown terrains and have won. You know, we never just stepped out, we stepped out and we fucking delivered. So I have enormous respect for men for that. I think just how men see the world and their genetic strength gives them that advantage. So that the strength and the intelligence and how men see the world, the man brain and the man's strength go hand in hand as an advantage. You know, the male bravado, the male maverick is an advantage. It helps him tame the world, control the world, beat the world around him. And that is necessary if you're going to survive. Another advantage is, you know, I think, I don't know how it is for women, but I think men have just a quicker they're more comfortable with brutal logic and reason. And that comes in handy when it comes again to understanding all these things around us, life. I think that's an advantage. It gives an advantage. It gives an advantage. Let me see. Very few advantages to being. I mean, it depends. If you're a beautiful man like me, then you know there's so many more advantages. There's always a lot of the high availability of JJ. And invites to rad shindigs. Other than that, I mean, there are more advantages, I'm sure, but these are the key core ones I can think of, or I can agree on. Disadvantages now. Disadvantages, I think spending time with women have a higher emotional IQ. I wish all men had that emotional IQ. It would help, but perhaps there might be a hindrance, you know, with our logic and how we, you know, venture into things. But having a higher emotional IQ would be good for men. So I think the general emotional IQ of men stands at a disadvantage to them. Another key advantage is rage. Men have the rage. Our rage can engulf the entire fucking galaxy. I truly believe that men have that much rage. To be winners, you have to have the rage. We've invented religions and cultures to control ourselves, and we've done a pretty okay job, and we're still evolving. But the rage is a disadvantage. We can cause a lot of damage, especially to other animals and sentients, and you know, so the rage. Duty and responsibility is a disadvantage because, you know, you're chilling with your guy, a bear jumps into your living room and wants to eat somebody. Chances are your boyfriend or your husband is going to fucking die because men have this need. They're going to have to protect the women, they have to protect children, they have to protect weaker men, or they just have to be the shield between danger and the others. So if you want to live long and you live in a pretty hostile environment, being a man is not an advantage. You're going to die. Think of wars also. Because of that rage, because men usually lead in society and all that, and we have that strength when it comes to war. You all know who they come from. They come from men. They come for your 16-year-olds. They come for your 14-year-olds. Everything that's happened throughout history. Come for your 17, 18-year-olds, and they drag your dad to war, and he has to fight to the death so that king and country is safe. So that's not an advantage. I mean, I understand the world. the way it is. I have no problem with. I mean, I wish the world was all nicey, but I understand. It is what it is, and we are changing it as we move. So I have accepted reality. So I think that's a disadvantage. Yeah, to men. Yeah, more responsibilities. Um, yeah, yeah. I think another disadvantage of being a man is in society is very difficult. If you look at the suicide rates, I think over 95% of people that kill themselves are men. Um, uh, yeah, and I'm someone who is fine with the idea of suicide, but I don't think they're killing themselves because life is great. It's fine if you have cancer and you want to check out. If you just want to check out, but I don't think a lot of these guys just want to check out. There's a lot of responsibilities on being a man. He has to be a winner. He has to be the go-getter. He has to be the head of the family. These are not. That's why a lot of men are killing themselves. And in society, a lot of men are still virgins. Without being successful or having money, you don't have access to your choice of mates. And that fucks with guys a lot. Um, yeah, being a man. Yeah, there are a lot of disadvantages to being a man. The advantages are just what we have carved out of this hellhole. Disadvantages are plenty. Yeah, a lot more. In society, it's very. There's so much that is demanded of the man that the man has to deliver on. And some of them are things we put on ourselves or through society that a lot of men have been the patriarch and the leaders, but it's still a burden that we have to shoulder. So I think these are disadvantages for men, or men can look at it as disadvantages. Yeah, that's it.